Welcome to the 14th annual Poetry Out Loud Finals competition at Malden High School. Round of applause to all of you and our participants. So as you should know, Poetry Out Loud is a national competition that celebrates spoken word and allows students to practice skills such as analysis skills and kind of build their confidence while they're reciting their poetry. Today we have our participants up here who have won your competitions in your classes, and they also won their period competitions. So the fact that they're here now competing is a huge accomplishment. We have 3 judges who will be assessing each performance on different criteria for Poetry Out Loud. We have Dr. Kelly Chase, our Assistant Superintendent, and our Director of Humanities, Mr. Greg Hurley. I'll be the accuracy judge, so tracking how accurate they are with their poetry, and Ms. Clapp will be tabulating all of the scores. So just so that you know as audience members how it's going to run today, each student has selected 2 poems, their original poem and a second poem to recite for us today. We'll do 1 round, the order has already been established. In between that round and the second round, we actually have a staff competition. So just know that that is what's going to happen today. As audience members, respectful audience members, I ask that you do not talk during the recitations, you're not looking at your phones, and you kind of just give your undivided attention and respect to the students that are on stage and to your peers, okay? So without further ado, we're going to get started. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Jacob Pettigrew, and I'm going to be reciting my first poem, Dream Song 14 by John Berryman. Life, friends, is boring. We must not say so. After all, the sky flashes, the great sea yearns. We ourselves flash and yearn. And moreover, my mother told me as a boy, repeatedly, ever to confess you're bored means you have no inner resources. I conclude now I have no inner resources because I am heavy bored. Peoples bore me. Literature bores me, especially great literature. Henry bores me with his plights and his gripes, great as Achilles, who loves people and valiant art, which bores me. And the tranquil hills and gin look like a drag, and somehow a dog has taken itself and its tail considerably away into mountain or sea or sky, leaving behind me. Wag. Thank you.
Reciting the Song of the Feet. The Song of the Feet by the It is appropriate that I sing the song of the weight of the body and what the body chooses to bear fall on me. I trampled the American wilderness, forged frontier trails, outran the mob in Tulsa, got caught in Philadelphia, and still I soldiered on in Korea, jungled through Vietnam, sweated out desert storms, gave my way through Afghanistan, tunneled the world trade center. And on the worst day of my life, walked behind JFK, shouldered MLK, stood embracing Sister Betty. I'll wiggle my toes in time, trusting that controls my motion, basking in the warm embrace. Days end offers with warm, salty waters. It is appropriate. I sing the praise of the feet. I am a black woman. Thank you.
My name is Sarah Zakaria, and I'll be reciting The Mortician in San Francisco by Randall Mann. This may sound queer, but in 1985, I held the delicate hands of Dan White. I prepared him for burial. By then, Harvey Milk was made monument, no, myth, by the year since he was shot. I remember when Harvey was shot, 20, and I knew I was queer. Those were the years. Levi's and leather jackets, holding hands on Castro Street, cheering for Harvey Milk. Elected on the same day as Dan White. I often wonder about Supervisor White, who fatally shot Mayor Moscone and Supervisor Milk, who was one of us, Castro queer. May 21st, 1979, a jury hands down the sentence. 7 years, in truth, 5 years, for ex-cop, ex-fireman Dan White, for the blood on his hands. When he confessed that he shot the mayor and the queer, a few men in blue cheered. And Harvey Milk. Why cry over spilled milk, some wondered, semi-privately, for years. It meant one less queer. The jurors turned to White. If just the mayor had been shot, Dan might have had trouble on his hands, but the 12 who held his life in their hands maybe didn't mind the death of Harvey Milk. Maybe the second murder offered him a shot at serving only a few years. In the end, he committed suicide, this Dan White, and he was made presentable by a queer. Thank you.
There are so many roots to the tree of anger that sometimes the branches shatter before they bear. Sitting in netics, the women rally before they march, discussing the problematic girls they hired to make them free. An almost white counterman passes, awaiting brother to serve them first. And the ladies neither notice nor reject the slighter pleasures of their slavery. But I, who am bounded by my mirror as well as my bed, see causes in color as well as sex, and sit here wondering which me will survive all these liberations. Thank you.
My name is Sarah Zakaria, and I'll be reciting Miss Adam by Kathy Norris. I have lately come to the conclusion that I am Eve, alias Miss Adam. You know, there's no account of her death in the Bible. And why am I not Eve? Emily Dickinson in a letter, 12 January, 1846. Wake up. You'll need your wits about you. This is not a dream, but a woman who loves you, speaking. She was there when you cried out. She brushed the terror away. She knew when it was time to sin. You were wise to let her handle it and leave that place. Couldn't speak at first, for the bitter knowledge, the sweet taste of memory on our tongues. Listen, it's time. You were chosen too, to put the world together. Thank you.
That concludes the second round of our student recitations. Let's give all of our students a round of applause.
I want to say something. About a month and a half ago, I had the opportunity to go to a local high school, another high school, with a bunch of principals to observe the school. They were doing kind of what we're doing here at the school, with all the students watching the finals. And it was really great, but I noticed something. Their students talking on their phones, teachers constantly having to tell them to stop. Some were paying attention, some weren't. The thing that stuck out to me the most is they really cheered for some of the poets. They didn't really cheer for others. What I noticed as I'm sitting here is, you listened. It was quiet, you were respectful. Every person that recited a poem got a huge applause. So as the principal of this school, I would like to bring that other school in and watch us and see how we really treat our students and students. We're really incredibly proud of you guys. But just as proud of the way, the respect that you showed to the hard work that went into this. So give yourselves a round of applause.
Just give us a couple of minutes to tabulate the scores, and then we will identify who's first, second, third place winners for today, or this year. In third place for our Malden High School Poetry Out Loud Finals, we have Sarah Oliveira. In second place, we have Sarah Zakaria. And in first place, representing Malden High School on Saturday, February 29th in Newburyport, we have Ketchely Phillips. a round of applause to all of our students. There are about 10 minutes or so left in the period, so I would say to check in with your teachers if you're going back to class. But again, thank you so much for being an attentive, respectful audience and supporting your peers.